How did the ancient Egyptians spend their moments of joy, and did football, that great game of the modern world, exist somewhere among their pastimes? In truth, football as we know it did not exist along the Nile. There were no lined fields, no leagues, no written rules for 11 against 11. That game would not appear in the world for another 3,000 years. But the Egyptians had a world of their own, play balls of leather and linen sewn by hand, games danced and juggled by women, and one royal ritual in which a small round object came to stand for the cosmos itself. To find these games, we do not begin in a stadium. We begin at the edge of the river, in the reed marshes and the painted tombs, because that is where the round shape, moving through the air, first left its mark on this civilization. Roughly 4,000 years ago, in the years of what history calls the Middle Kingdom, Egypt was a country of long river journeys and quiet provincial power. Local governors, the nomarchs, ruled from towns strung like beads along the Nile. They ate, worked, prayed, and were buried beneath painted cliffs whose walls preserved, in ochre and lamp-black, the daily life of an entire world. Among the harvests and the funerals, among the wrestlers and the weavers, the artists painted something quieter. Women tossing balls into the air, children laughing on the shoulders of their companions, men chasing a small round object with curved sticks. And the ball itself was already ancient by then. When the wall paintings of the provincial tombs were being drawn, the oldest known Egyptian ball was already more than 5 centuries old, resting in the sand of a child's grave far to the north. Around 2500 BCE, at a small necropolis called Tarkhan on the west bank of the Nile, about 50 kilometers south of what is now Cairo, a child was buried in a grave numbered by modern archaeologists 518. Among the modest goods laid beside the small body was a ball. It was made of linen rags. They had been rolled tightly into a sphere and tied around with cord. It is the oldest known ball from ancient Egypt and, by some measures, the oldest known ball anywhere in the world. Nothing about it is grand. It fits comfortably in a child's hand. It was made to be caught, thrown, and loved the centuries past. The Egyptians kept making balls, and enough of them survived in the dry air of the desert to tell us how their craft evolved. From the tombs of Thebes, in an excavation carried out around 1918, archaeologists lifted from the sand a small leather ball roughly 7 centimeters across, its stitched panels still holding together after more than 3,000 years. There are others. Linen balls with reed strip decoration in red and green, balls whose interiors were formed of tightly packed plant fibers and rushes, balls whose surfaces were cloth stretched taut over a core. The exact recipes vary, but the surviving balls tell the same quiet story that across generations, this civilization spent centuries perfecting a small object made to be held and thrown. To see how those balls were used, one must climb the cliffs above the eastern bank of the Nile, near the modern town of Minya. There, cut into the limestone, lie the tombs of Beni Hassan, the burial chambers of provincial governors, decorated during the 11th and 12th dynasties. 2 of these tombs, side by side, preserve the earliest visual record of ball play anywhere in the world. The first belonged to a governor named Bakhet III, who ruled the province of Menat Khufu around 4,000 years ago. On his painted walls, women dance. Some toss 3 balls at once in a fluid, unbroken rhythm through the air. One of them, in a detail that would be extraordinary in any century, juggles with her arms crossed at the wrists. Another scene shows 4 girls together. 2 are carried on the backs of the other 2. Those on top throw balls back and forth to each other while their bearers hold them steady. A scholarly hypothesis, first proposed more than a century ago, suggests that when a player dropped the ball, she took her turn as the bearer. Whether this rule was real or whether the game had other rules entirely is not recorded. Only the image survives. Next to Bakhet's tomb lies the tomb of his son, Keti. On its walls, two figures stand facing each other. Each holds a stick with a curved end. Between them, on the ground, rests a round object. This is the earliest known image anywhere in the world of two people using shaped implements to strike a ball. The sticks were made of palm branches, cut and bent to give the natural curve at the striking end. Whether the game they were playing was a contest, a training exercise, or something more ceremonial is not documented. Scholars still debate what exactly is happening in this scene. What is not in debate is the shape of the world. It opens a world in which ball play was watched, painted, and remembered at least 4,000 years ago on a wall of a tomb along the Nile. Roughly 5 centuries after those provincial tombs were painted, the ball entered the temple. In the 15th century BCE, during the reign of Thutmose III, a warrior pharaoh who would extend Egypt's power farther than any before him, a small scene was carved into the walls of the Hathor shrine at Deir el-Bahari, in the great terraced temple of Hatshepsut on the western bank of Thebes. In it, the king stands before the goddess Hathor. In one hand, he holds a curved striking stick. In the other, a small round ball. 2 priests stand near him, holding additional balls in reserve. Above the scene, cut into the stone in a single line of hieroglyphs, the caption reads, "Striking the ball for Hathor, foremost of Thebes." The Egyptians called this rite Sika Hemat, literally striking the ball. And what the ball represented in this sacred moment was not play. It was the evil eye of the serpent Apep, the great enemy of the sun god Ra, coiled beneath the horizon each night, waiting to swallow the light of the world. By striking the ball away, the king struck at chaos itself. He defended the daily journey of the sun through the sky. He preserved Ma'at, the cosmic order upon which everything in Egypt rested. Thutmose III is the first pharaoh known to be depicted performing this rite. Others would follow him on temple walls for more than 1,000 years into the Ptolemaic age, the last great era of Egyptian religion. On all of those walls, the ball is never just a ball. It is always a small, round symbol of the world's continuing survival. What all of this suggests is not that the Egyptians played football or hockey or any modern game with a modern name. What it suggests is stranger and more beautiful. The ball, in ancient Egypt, was many things at once. It was a linen scrap wrapped in cord and buried with a child at Tarkhan. It was a stitched leather sphere small enough to close a hand around. It was a papyrus cord orb tossed from shoulder to shoulder by acrobats on painted walls. It was a curved stick target contested by 2 men in the tomb of a governor's son. And it was, at the highest reaches of the state, a symbol of the cosmos held aloft by the king before the goddess. The same round shape traveled through the play of children, the dances of women, the labor of craftsmen, and the ritual of kings. A civilization that could see one object in so many ways, from a toy in the sand to a defense against the serpent of chaos, was a civilization that took the small things of the world seriously. That, perhaps, is what the round shape tells us. Not that Egypt invented sport, but that Egypt saw play as part of the fabric of the world. The tombs of Beni Hassan hold more than balls and jugglers. On the same painted walls, in scenes of extraordinary detail, hundreds of other figures wrestle, throw, and grapple, the earliest surviving record of organized combat in human history. That is a story for another day. You've been watching Kemet Chronicles,